Have you ever woken up in the morning, feeling more tired than when you went to bed? You slowly sit up, rub your eyes, stretch your arms, and for a moment, you just sit there, staring at the wall. Your body feels heavy. Your mind feels foggy. And you think to yourself, why do I feel this way? I slept for 8 hours, didn't I? Then you start your day. You make a cup of tea. Maybe take a few steps around the house. But before the morning is even halfway through, your energy is already gone. You feel like you've run a marathon, but all you've done is made the bed and checked the mail. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Fatigue, this deep, dragging tiredness, is something so many seniors struggle with. But here's the strange part, nobody really talks about it. People assume it's just a part of getting older. I'm just slowing down, they say. Or, that's what happens after 70. But what if it's not just age? What if your body is trying to whisper something? And we've all just been too busy or too tired to listen? Maybe you've noticed this in yourself. Or maybe in a loved one, someone who used to be full of life, and now just doesn't seem like themselves anymore. They nap more, smile less, and move slower. And you can't quite put your finger on what's wrong. That's why today's video is so important. Because fatigue in seniors isn't always just about getting older. Sometimes, it's a warning sign. Sometimes, it's your body waving a little red flag, trying to tell you something needs attention. And the truth is, some of these reasons might surprise you. In this video, we're going to talk about 10 unexpected reasons why seniors feel tired all the time. Not just the obvious stuff, but the hidden causes, the ones even doctors might overlook. And the best part? By the end, you'll not only understand what could be going on, but also what you can do to feel better. Even small changes can bring back energy, clarity, and peace of mind. So, if you've ever found yourself asking, why am I always so tired? Or you've watched someone you love fade into exhaustion and thought, this just isn't right, then this video is for you. And before we dive in, do me a small favor, if any of this hits home, drop a comment below that says, that's me. Because trust me, you're not alone. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. This is Elderly Wisdom Guide. Your place for honest, compassionate advice on aging well, staying healthy, and living each day with strength and purpose. Let's get started. Let's begin with reason number 1, poor sleep quality. Now, picture this, it's 2 a.m. The house is quiet. But Mr. Jenkins, age 74, is wide awake, for the third time tonight. He rolls over, adjusts his pillow, sighs deeply, and stares at the ceiling. It's been like this for months. He told his daughter, I guess it's just old age. I don't sleep like I used to. But here's the thing, he was wrong. After a checkup and a sleep study, Mr. Jenkins was diagnosed with sleep apnea. He'd been unknowingly waking up dozens of times each night, gasping slightly, not enough to remember, but enough to keep him from ever reaching deep, restorative sleep. You see, as we age, our sleep patterns naturally shift. We spend less time in deep sleep, the kind your body really needs to heal, to restore, to recharge. On top of that, conditions like sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, and frequent nighttime bathroom trips become more common. The misconception? That waking up often or feeling groggy all day is just part of getting older. But it's not always just age, it might be a health issue that's treatable. So, what can you do? First, talk to your doctor about how you've been sleeping. If it's restless, interrupted, or just plain unrefreshing, ask about a sleep study. At home, try building a calming bedtime routine, maybe a warm cup of caffeine-free tea, soft instrumental music, or even light stretching before bed. And don't underestimate the power of a consistent bedtime. Routine helps your body know when to wind down. Let's move on to reason number 2, dehydration. Let me tell you about Ms. Patel. She's 81 and still very sharp, but lately, she's been drifting off during the day, even in the middle of her favorite soap operas. Her family noticed she seemed sluggish, slow to respond. They were worried it might be early dementia. But the real culprit? She was drinking barely 2 glasses of water a day. You see, as we get older, our sense of thirst fades. The body might desperately need water, but the brain doesn't send that same strong "I'm thirsty" signal anymore. And without enough fluids, everything starts to slow down, your blood doesn't flow as efficiently, your muscles cramp, and your mind gets cloudy. Fatigue sets in fast. The common myth? If I'm not thirsty, I must be fine. But the truth is, thirst is not always the best indicator of hydration in seniors. So, here's a simple fix: sip water throughout the day. Don't wait until your mouth feels dry. Keep a small bottle nearby. Flavor it with a slice of lemon or cucumber if that helps. Even herbal teas and broths can count toward hydration. And don't forget, fatigue might not mean something serious right away, but small steps like staying hydrated could make a world of difference. Reason number 3, nutrient deficiencies. Let's talk about Mr. Gomez. He used to be the life of every room, full of jokes, full of energy. But over the past few months, something changed. He started skipping his morning walks. He fell asleep during conversations. His smile didn't quite reach his eyes anymore. His daughter thought he might be depressed. But a simple blood test told a different story. Mr. Gomez had a vitamin B12 deficiency. This is more common than you might think. As we age, our bodies stop absorbing certain nutrients the way they used to. Even if you're eating all the right foods, your stomach might not break them down effectively anymore. Vitamins like B12, iron, and vitamin D, they're essential for keeping your energy levels up. When you're low, your body feels like it's dragging itself through the day. But here's the mistake many people make: they assume that eating a balanced diet is enough. But diet alone sometimes isn't enough, especially when absorption becomes the issue. You might be eating spinach, eggs, or fish, but your body may not be pulling out the nutrients it needs. So, what's the solution? Ask your doctor for a simple blood test. It's quick, it's easy, and it can reveal so much. If you're low on something, they may recommend a daily supplement. And don't worry. Many supplements come in easy-to-swallow tablets, liquids, or even chewables designed specifically for seniors. A little boost in the right nutrient can be the difference between a sluggish morning and a day full of vitality. Now, on to reason number 4, medication side effects. Let's meet Helen. She's 76 and recently started a new medication for high blood pressure. Within a week, she couldn't stay awake past noon. Her mornings felt foggy. Her afternoons? Non-existent. Her family was concerned, but they didn't suspect the medication. After all, it was prescribed by a doctor. But that's where many seniors, and their families, get caught off guard. You see, many common medications have fatigue as a side effect. And when you're taking more than one, which most seniors are, those effects can stack. It's called polypharmacy, and it can sneak up quietly. A new pill here, another one there, and suddenly, your energy is gone. The myth is, if the doctor gave it to me, it must be safe. Now, your doctor absolutely has your best interests in mind. But they don't always know how each medication will interact in your specific body, or with the other meds you're already taking. And sometimes, side effects don't show up right away. That's why it's so important to regularly review your medications, not just with your doctor, but also with a pharmacist. They're trained to look at your full list and spot combinations that might be draining your energy. If you've been feeling unusually tired after starting something new, or even after adjusting a dose, don't ignore that feeling. Listen to your body. Speak up. Sometimes, even a small adjustment can make a big difference in how you feel. Reason number 5, depression or emotional stress. Let's talk about Robert. He's 82, and for most of his life, he was sharp, witty, and full of curiosity. He loved puzzles, gardening, and talking about history. But over time, something shifted. His crossword book stayed untouched. He stopped going to the garden. He even avoided phone calls from friends. His family thought he was just slowing down. He's just getting older, they said. But Robert wasn't slowing down. He was struggling with untreated depression. You see, emotional stress and depression don't always show up as sadness, especially in seniors. They can creep in quietly and disguise themselves as fatigue, forgetfulness, or a loss of interest in things that once brought joy. And the science backs it up. Emotional exhaustion can mimic physical fatigue. When your mind is weighed down, your body follows. It's a heaviness that doesn't go away with a nap or a good night's sleep. One of the biggest myths out there is, older people don't get depressed. But that's simply not true. In fact, seniors are often less likely to talk about their feelings. They were raised in a generation that didn't always have the language for mental health. So instead of saying, "I feel down," they say, "I'm just tired." That's why it's so important to check in, with kindness, not pressure. Ask how they're feeling. Encourage little moments of connection. Even a weekly phone call or a shared hobby can make a real difference. And if you notice changes, like withdrawing from favorite activities or sleeping too much, it might be time for a gentle conversation. Let them know they're not alone, and that help is available. Now, let's move to something many seniors endure quietly, without realizing just how much it's affecting their energy. Reason number 6, chronic pain. Mary, 79, was once active and social. She loved walking to the local market, chatting with neighbors, and tending to her houseplants. But then came the back pain. Subtle at first. Just a twinge. But over the months, it became constant. She started avoiding movement altogether. Sitting more. Resting more. But instead of feeling better, she felt more exhausted. That's the tricky thing about chronic pain. It doesn't just hurt, it drains. Pain disrupts sleep. It makes even simple tasks feel monumental. And over time, it chips away at your energy, your mood, and your motivation. Here's the myth: pain is just part of getting older. We hear it all the time. And while some aches and stiffness are natural with age, ongoing, intense pain isn't something you should just accept. There are options: gentle exercises, physical therapy, or even low-impact treatments like warm compresses, stretching, or aquatic therapy. You don't have to jump into intense workouts. Even small movements, done regularly, can ease pain and bring energy back into your life. Pain might be invisible to others, but its impact is real. So, if you, or someone you love, is living with chronic discomfort, don't ignore it. Speak to a healthcare provider. Ask about relief options. Because when pain is managed, energy has a chance to return. Reason number 7, heart conditions. Let me introduce you to Tom. Tom is 77, a retired mail carrier who once walked miles a day without blinking. But lately, just walking to the kitchen left him breathless. Folding laundry? He needed to sit down. Climbing stairs? Out of the question. His family thought it was just age catching up. He's just slowing down, they said. But here's the truth: Tom's fatigue was an early sign of heart failure. You see, when the heart isn't pumping efficiently, when it struggles to push oxygen-rich blood through the body, you feel it in your energy levels first. Tasks that used to be simple suddenly feel like marathons. That heaviness in the legs. That shortness of breath. That constant need to sit down and rest. It's not always just getting older. The heart is your engine. When it's weak or working too hard, your entire system slows down. And here's where many people go wrong: they dismiss the signs. They think breathlessness is just part of aging. But it's not. Not when it shows up with chest tightness, swelling in the feet, or dizziness. If any of those sound familiar, don't wait. It's time to talk to a doctor. Catching heart issues early can make a huge difference. There are medications, lifestyle changes, and treatments that can help restore balance and bring energy back into your life. Now let's flip the page to something that sounds harmless, but is quietly robbing energy from thousands of seniors every single day. Reason number 8, inactivity. Jean is 80. Kind, cheerful, and used to be very active in her church group. But after a mild fall, she started resting more. First a few days on the couch. Then a few weeks. Before long, she was spending nearly every hour of the day sitting. She thought she was giving her body time to heal. "I just need rest," she told herself. But here's what happened instead: she felt more tired than ever. Why? Because the body was made to move. Inactivity creates a vicious cycle. The less you move, the weaker your muscles become. The weaker your muscles, the harder it is to move. That effort makes you feel more tired. So you sit more, and the cycle repeats. And the big myth here is this: resting brings energy back. It doesn't, not when rest becomes your entire routine. Real energy comes from circulation, movement, and momentum. You don't have to join a gym or take long walks. Start small. Stretch your arms in the morning. Stand and march in place during TV commercials. Walk to the mailbox or around the kitchen. Even 5 minutes of light movement can start rebuilding stamina. It wakes up your body and says, "We're still here. Let's keep going." Because the truth is, motion is medicine. And even at 80, 90, or beyond, it's never too late to reclaim a little more strength, a little more energy, and a little more life. And speaking of strength, our next reason is one that hides in the background and often gets overlooked, but it could be silently draining the energy right out of your day. Reason number 9, anemia. Let me tell you about Stan. Stan is 75, a quiet man who enjoyed morning walks and tending to his small garden. But over time, he started feeling off. He looked in the mirror and noticed his skin looked unusually pale. He'd get winded just watering his plants. At first, he brushed it off: maybe it was just the heat, or maybe he hadn't been sleeping well. But no matter how much he rested, the tiredness wouldn't go away. A routine doctor's visit changed everything. Stan was diagnosed with anemia. Now here's what that means: anemia happens when your body doesn't have enough healthy red blood cells. And red blood cells carry oxygen. So if you don't have enough of them, your muscles, your brain, your whole body, gets less oxygen. And less oxygen equals less energy. That constant fatigue, the pale complexion, the feeling like your body is just dragging through the day, those are warning signs. But so many seniors overlook them or mistake them for just part of aging. But they're not. Anemia is surprisingly common in older adults, and it's often easy to treat. Sometimes it's caused by not getting enough iron. Sometimes it's linked to other conditions. But the good news? A simple blood test, called a CBC or complete blood count, can spot it. Treatment could be as easy as adding more iron-rich foods, like spinach or lean meats, or taking a gentle iron supplement. In more serious cases, it might mean treating an underlying issue. So, if you've been feeling unusually weak or short of breath, or if people say you're looking a little pale, don't ignore it. Talk to your doctor. Get that blood test. A small change could give you a big boost. Now, let's move to something else, another hidden energy thief, one that disguises itself behind a slow metabolism and some extra forgetfulness. Reason number 10, thyroid issues. Joan is 78. Sharp as a tack, always had a witty comeback, and never missed her morning crossword. But something changed. She started gaining weight, even though her eating habits didn't change. She felt cold all the time, and her energy? Gone. Getting through the day felt like wading through wet cement. Even her memory started slipping a bit. Her family noticed, but chalked it up to getting older. Turns out, it wasn't age, it was her thyroid. Specifically, an underactive thyroid, also called hypothyroidism. It's more common in seniors than many realize, and it can sneak up on you. See, the thyroid is a small gland in your neck, but it controls a lot. It sets the pace for your body's systems. Your metabolism, temperature, brain function, and yes, your energy. When it slows down, everything else does too. And here's the problem, many symptoms of thyroid issues look just like aging. Fatigue. Slower thinking. Weight gain. Dry skin. Cold hands and feet. Sound familiar? That's why this one often goes unnoticed. People say, well, I'm just getting older. But that's not always the case. The good news? It's easy to check. A quick blood test can reveal if your thyroid levels are off. And if they are, treatment is simple and effective, usually just a daily pill. Joan started her medication, and within weeks, her energy returned. The fog lifted. She was back to her sharp, lively self. So, if you've been feeling slow, foggy, or just not like yourself, it might not be just age. It might be your thyroid trying to get your attention. Now that we've covered 10 powerful and often hidden reasons seniors feel tired all the time, you might be wondering, what do I do with all this information? Don't worry. We're going to tie it all together, giving you a simple, clear roadmap to take back your energy, one gentle step at a time. Because no matter your age, you deserve to feel alive. To feel vibrant. To feel like you again. You know, there's something deeply unsettling about watching energy slowly fade from someone's life. Maybe you've felt it yourself, waking up already tired. Pushing through the day with a heaviness in your limbs and a fog in your mind. Or maybe you've seen it in someone you love. That spark in their eyes growing dim, the lightness in their step turning into a shuffle. At first, it feels like a phase. But over time, it starts to feel permanent. And that's the scariest part. Not knowing if this is just how it is now. Not knowing if this tiredness is your new normal. But I want you to pause with me right here, and breathe this in. It doesn't have to be. What you've just discovered, these 10 hidden reasons behind fatigue, they're not just information. They're doorways. Doorways to understanding, to healing, to hope. You see, when you give your tiredness a name, you take away its power to confuse and overwhelm you. You're no longer in the dark, guessing and blaming age for everything. You're finally standing in a place of clarity. And from here, you can move forward. So maybe today, your step forward is small. Maybe it's a glass of water. Or finally calling your doctor. Or walking outside for 5 gentle minutes and feeling the sun on your face. That small act? It matters. Because healing isn't always a leap. Sometimes it's a soft whisper, I deserve to feel better. You deserve that. You really do. Your golden years aren't meant to be dimmed by exhaustion. They're meant to be filled with light, laughter, connection, and comfort. Yes, some things do change with age, but feeling worn out, disconnected from your own body, and too tired to live fully, that doesn't have to be part of the deal. So, I want to leave you with this, you're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not just old. You're human. And your body, your incredible, resilient, beautiful body, is talking to you. Now you know how to listen. Now you know where to begin. And now, you can take that next gentle, loving step back toward your energy, and toward yourself. Because it's never too late to feel alive again. Alright, let's take a moment to gently reflect on what we've uncovered together. We walked through the 10 biggest reasons seniors often feel tired all the time. Poor sleep. Dehydration. Lack of nutrients like B12 and iron. Side effects from medications. Depression and emotional stress. Chronic pain. Heart issues. Too much resting, not enough moving. Anemia. And hidden thyroid problems. Each one of these isn't just a medical term or a statistic. It's something real. Something that affects real people, just like you. Something that can quietly chip away at your energy, your joy, your confidence. But here's the good news. Each one of them can be addressed. Each one has a starting point for healing. And each one gives you an opportunity to take back control over how you feel every day. So now, I want to hear from you. Which of these reasons spoke to you the most? Was it something you've experienced personally? Or something you've noticed in someone you love? Share it in the comments below. Let's open up a conversation, because when we share, we grow. And sometimes, your story might be the exact thing someone else needs to hear today. And if this video helped you, even just a little, if it made you feel seen, heard, or understood, do me a favor, tap that like button. Subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide. This is more than just a channel, it's a place where we talk about the real stuff. The tough stuff. The stuff nobody warns you about as you grow older. But here, we don't shy away. We face it together, gently, honestly, and with heart. So, thank you. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. For taking the time to learn, to reflect, and maybe even to begin again. Stay strong. Stay curious. Stay kind to yourself. And above all, stay hopeful. Because no matter where you are on this journey, there is always light ahead. Until next time, take care.